Haisai, wanne Sid Yaibing, Chaganju. Welcome everyone, I'm your host Sid. I hope you're doing well and I thank you for your continuing support to this channel. If you haven't already done so, please subscribe. Click on that red subscribe ball in the lower right. Another way to help is to share this video with others via email, Facebook, Twitter, or some other social media. The background today is sokisoba. Sokisoba is made from Okinawan noodles and boneless pork ribs. The soup is usually kombu broth or katsuobushi broth. Garnishes differ depending on where you eat it, but are usually green onions and kamaboko. There are sokisoba restaurants all over Okinawa, but my favorite spot is in a place in Tsunabe. I love sokisoba and I look forward to eating it every time I'm in Okinawa. Okay, let's get right into it. Today's topic is counting. You may be surprised, but counting in Uchinaaguchi is very complex. There is no consistency in counting different things in Uchinaaguchi, so memorization will be required. Because of this complexity and the different things that we'll cover, we'll be doing this topic in 2 videos. First of all, we need to learn how to count in Japanese. Yes, learning to count in Japanese will help you to count in Uchinaaguchi, because sometimes Uchinaaguchi uses the same counting words as Japanese. An example is when you tell time or count money. You will use Japanese counting words with a slight variation for Uchinaaguchi sounds. Okay, let's learn how to count in Japanese. 1 is ichi, 2 is ni, 3 is sang, 4 is shi or yong, 5 is go, 6 is roku, 7 is shichi or nana, 8 is hachi, 9 is ku, 10 is ju. Reviewing it, it is ichi, ni, sang, shi, go, roku, shichi, hachi, ku, ju. There is a slight variation for Uchinaaguchi. It is ichi, ni, sang, shi, gu, ruku or duku, shichi, hachi, ku, ju. I will refer to this as the Uchinaaguchi style Japanese counting. Next, we need to learn how to count in tens in Japanese. 10 is ju, 20 is niju, 30 is sanju, 40 is yonju, 50 is goju, 60 is rokuju, 70 is shichiju, 80 is hachiju, 90 is kyuju. Again, there is a slight variation for Uchinaaguchi. The Uchinaaguchi style Japanese counting for tens is ju, niju, sanju, shichu, guju, rukuju, shichiju, hachiju, kuju. To count by hundreds in Japanese is 100 is hyaku, 200 is nihyaku, 300 is sanbyaku, 400 is yonhyaku, 500 is gohyaku, 600 is ropyaku, 700 is nanahyaku, 800 is hapyaku, 900 is kyuhyaku. Again, there is a slight variation for Uchinaaguchi. The Uchinaaguchi style Japanese counting for hundreds is hyaku, nihyaku, sanbeku or sanbyaku, shihyaku, guhyaku, duppeku or duppeku or dupyaku, nanahyaku, hapyaku, kuhyaku. In Japanese, 1,000 is sen and 10,000 is mang. In Uchinaaguchi, it is shin and mang. To say any number, you would combine what we have just learned. For example, to say 783, we break up each component. 700 is nanahyaku, 80 is hachiju, and 3 is sang. So 783 would be nanahyaku, hachiju, sang. If you need a complete example of how to count from 1 to 1,000 in Japanese, Refer to the link I have in the comments section by another YouTuber. The YouTuber actually counts every number up to 1,000. Since there are many YouTube videos on how to count in Japanese, I will limit my discussion of this topic and concentrate on unique Uchinaaguchi counting information. Now we understand how to count in Japanese with a slight Uchinaaguchi variation, which I will refer to as the Uchinaaguchi style Japanese counting. So when do Okinawans use the Uchinaaguchi style Japanese counting words? A prime example is time. Telling time in Uchinaaguchi is similar to Japanese using the Uchinaaguchi style Japanese counting words. The hour is followed by the word ji, and the minutes is followed by the word pung or fung. So 1 o'clock would be ichiji, 2 o'clock is niji, and then similarly for 3 o'clock to 12 o'clock would be sanji, yoji, guji, rukuji, shichiji, hachiji, kuji, juji, juichiji, and juniji. To say the minutes, we would say the appropriate number from 1 to 59, followed by pung or fung. So it would be ippung, nifung, sampung, yongpung, gufung, rukufung or dukufung, shichifung, hachifung, kufung, jufung, juichifung, junifung, and so on. So an example would be 536. In Uchinaaguchi is guji sanju rukufung. 715 would be shiji jugufung. 1156 would be juichiji guju rukufung. Another example of Okinawans using Uchinaaguchi style Japanese counting words is counting animals like dogs, cats, and pigs. In Uchinaaguchi, to count animals is ippichi, nihichi, sambichi, shibichi, gubichi, rukubichi, shibichi, hachibichi, kubichi, jubichi. Counting cars is another example. In Uchinaaguchi, to count cars is ichidai, nidai, sandai, yondai, gudai, rukudai, nanadai, hachidai, kyudai, judai. Okinawans also use the Uchinaaguchi style Japanese numbers for counting money. So it would be the number followed by yen, or for US dollars it would be doru. In Uchinaaguchi, to count money is ichieng, nieng, sangeng, yoeng, gueng, rukueng, shieng, hachieng, kueng, jueng. Also, the calendar years will use the Uchinaaguchi style Japanese numbers, followed by the word neng. So this year would be Niseng Niju Ichineng. The calendar months also uses the Uchinaaguchi style Japanese numbers. January to December would be the number followed by guachi. So saying January to December is ichiguachi or soguachi, niguachi, sanguachi, shiguachi, guguachi, rukuguachi, shiguachi, hachiguachi, kuguachi, chuguachi, shimuchichi, shiwashi. So November and December deviate from what you would expect. I'm sure if you use Ju-ichi-guachi and Ju-ni-guachi, it would be okay. Next, we'll discuss how to count days. Days 1 to 10 in Uchinaaguchi is Chi-tachi, Fuchika, Mikka, Yukka, Gunichi, Rukunichi, Shichinichi, Hachinichi, Kunichi, and Tuka. After day 10, the Uchinaaguchi and Japanese is identical. So let's see how we say February 1 to February 12, combining what we have learned for months and days. February 1 would be Nigwachi Chi-tachi. February 2 would be Nigwachi Fuchika. Then it would be Nigwachi Mikka. Nigwachi, yuka. Nigwachi, gunichi. Nigwachi, rukunichi. Nigwachi, shichinichi. Nigwachi, hachinichi. Nigwachi, kunichi. Nigwachi, tuka. February 11 is Nigwachi, Ju-ichinichi. And February 12th would be Nigwachi, Ju-ninichi. Another example where we use Uchinaaguchi modified Japanese counting is when referring to the oldest son, second son, third son, and so on. So the oldest son is Chonang, or many times Chakushi, Jinang, Sannang, Yunang, Gunang, Rukunang, Shinang, Hachinang, Kunang, Junang. After 10, Uchinaaguchi and Japanese are identical, but you probably won't run into a situation where you need to count this high. Similarly, the way to say oldest daughter, second daughter, third daughter is Chojo, or Inaguchakushi, Chijo, Sanjo, Yujo, Gujo, Rukujo, Shijo, Hachijo, Kujo, Chujo. After 10, Uchinaaguchi and Japanese are identical. Again, I don't think you'll run into a situation of having a family having so many daughters, but no promises. This is quite a bit, so let's conclude the video here. We haven't even touched on the unique Uchinaaguchi counting, so be sure to watch next week's video as we continue this topic and learn how to count other items. If you learned something and found this video interesting, please like. If you haven't done so, please subscribe. As always, thank you for viewing. Mata yaasai.